the basement.
There was quite a bit of water in our carpet.
There's water coming out your front door.
And I saw water coming out of the garage closet.
I called Carpet Tech.
I really felt like I was being treated professionally and personally and friendly.
They came in, they said, don't worry about this, we're gonna get it taken care of.
I think what matters the most to me is that I feel comfortable and that I can trust them.
Right now at Jim Bass, scan our QR code and find great deals on cars and trucks. Right now, you can get 11 grand in total savings on all remaining 2024 Ford F-150s in stock.
You can only get deals like this at Jim Bass Ford, Houston Hart and Arden Road, or 24/7 at bassbus.com, or you can use this QR code right here. It's on the other side, isn't it?
Well, hello, I'm Joe Hyde, publisher of San Angelo Live. I'm here with Kerri Mikulik. She's a doctor, a real doctor, not a medical doctor.
Right.
And you're the head person in charge of admissions at Angelo State University.
That's correct.
How's that for like a really simple title?
There you go.
What's the real title?
It's Executive Director of Admissions, Strategic Partnerships, and Dual Credit.
My goodness, what a long. I could never remember that. Why don't y'all need to shorten that thing up for marketing?
Yeah, I do a lot of things, so yeah.
But anyway, Kerri is, we wanted her on the show because Angelo State University obviously is a big part of our economy here.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in charge of growing it, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your team has to grow Angelo State University.
Yes.
I would imagine that General Ronnie Hawkins would get mad if he started shrinking enrollment, right?
Right. And he stays on top of that, and I appreciate that. But he also kind of has a message of it's all of us in on that. So even if you're a staff member in a different department outside of admissions, and you're out in the community talking to your friends and they have a kid who's in high school, you should feel comfortable talking to them and telling them all the great things that we have about ASU.
He wants everyone that works for ASU or connected to ASU to be an evangelist.
Yes. We are all recruiters.
Right.
And so we should all know what's going on. We talk about what we have as far as great scholarship opportunities and how we should tell people, give them that message so that they come. Even if you're local and you feel like you drive past the university every day, you don't maybe know all the things that are going on with that. So we should all be responsible for sharing that message.
Gotcha. All right, so just tell me where we are. If I'm a Chamber of Commerce guy, tell me where we are at Angelo State University as far as enrollment and where you're projecting for growth.
Yes, so we have grown significantly the last 2 years, particularly in our freshman enrollment numbers. So we were really excited about that. Coming out of COVID, we had a whole bunch of challenges. Students weren't going to college at higher rates. They were questioning some things, or maybe they wanted to stay home. And as much as we want the local kids to come to school here, we also have to go outside of our local area. That supports our economy, bringing students into this area.
And their parents.
Yes, and they come in for football games and parent weekends and things like that. So we have to go outside of our local area to recruit those students as well. But thankfully, the last 2 years, we've seen great results from that. So the last 2 years we've hit over our goals for our freshman numbers. We also track our transfer student numbers, and so
transfer would be someone moves back home from Texas Tech or
something like that,
or maybe someone from the base who.
Yes, we have a lot of students who are stationed here who come here for training.
By the way,
the base.
if you're listening to this from out of the area, Goodfellow Air Force Base, which is a Intel and a firefighting training center, is here in San Angelo. Anyway.
Yes, and a lot of them are coming here for training. So while they're here, it'd be great for them to get some credits while they're here. So we have students in that. We have a great partnership with Howard College, where students will come over after they've completed their associate's degree and things like that. So we have a lot of transfer students who drive that. But now with online education, there's opportunities everywhere.
So you're becoming like the University of Phoenix.
No, we are not becoming the University of Phoenix, but we do have to stay competitive in the market. So we do have to look at what are our online offerings and how do we market those to students like transfer students who sometimes are non-traditional and they're working, and so they can't necessarily go to class during the regular scheduled type of traditional student could. So
how many students total, everything, online?
We have a little over 11,000 students through undergraduate programs, graduate programs, and we have a great dual credit program.
And also your
your
bachelor degree guys are living in dorms.
Yes,
stuff, right?
yes, we have a great, kind of your typical student who comes, moves in with their parents during, move-in weekend, and we're starting classes again next week. So we are looking forward to seeing all those students come back and seeing the campus be bustling again.
You went to Texas A&M like I did. We were talking about this before we went live with the camera. And I just gave you some of my observations. I went there in the 80s. So when I went to A&M in 1982, A&M was very small. I mean, small, it's 30,000 students back then, but that was still pretty small compared to what it is, 75,000 today. And of course, everyone from Katy, Texas wanted to go there and become join the Corps, be a fighter pilot, then a test pilot, then an astronaut. That was the goal. So everyone had to get an aero engineering degree, right?
Right.
And so we all signed up for these really hard engineering courses, but one of the courses they used to wash us out was chemistry 101 and 102. And I remember we had 2 chemistry professors who would actually teach the class. There would be 400 people in there. It was in Heldenfels.
Yep.
The hall in Helden. But they also held office hours, and they also had a separate thing where on the weekends they would have these seminars on how to study for college and stuff. And the point I'm getting at is back in the 80s, A&M was a teaching university. When you went there, you were taught something. So today, with where all the money goes in academia, it goes to research. So A&M also has research arms. So my kids who went, 2015 grad, 2018, 2022, they all probably had more teachers' assistants and things like that, where the professor was off, testing things, or, researching.
Yes. Doing
research. And I see ASU as kind of like Texas A&M in 1982. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, I think that our mission is to teach those students. I mean, yes, there are things like research and service and things like that happen. We have some great research opportunities and some great grants that bring those opportunities to our campus. But at the end of the day, we talk a lot about our values, and one of those is significance. And we want to ensure that our students leave feeling significant. After talking to the students, we know that that's something that they want. And so I love working at ASU. I feel significant working there. I feel like what I do makes a difference. And that's what our students want too. They want to leave there feeling like they made a difference. So our small class sizes, I mean, that's something we harp on and something we're very proud of, because you get to make that connection with those faculty members. So you can do undergraduate research. So you're not just being taught by somebody who's doing research. You can get in the classroom and do the research with them. So some high schoolers may think, oh gosh, research, that sounds terrible. But
sounds like an easy A.
Right. So, but it's not always like something in a lab. I mean, we've had them do some really cool research, like if you're really interested in sports, and going out and doing some statistical models when it comes to baseball and things like that, that are really research driven, and you have that opportunity at the undergraduate level. We look forward to growing our enrollment, but we always will hold steadfast to the fact that we focus on teaching and that the student is the number one. So
the education landscape is changing. You're probably looking at the next Texas legislature is going to pass some type of school voucher, public funding for private schools, which would, I think, further scatter people, decentralize education. So that changes a lot of how you recruit students, I would think.
Yes, and I mean, the environment of how we recruit students has already been changing. We've been tracking this demographic cliff. So 18 years ago, people started having fewer kids, and so
you're talking about the financial crisis of 2008, 2009. No one had any money, so they're scared. Well, we won't have any kids.
Yes.
So there's this giant. I came out of the Air Force, right? So there was they called it a bathtub when they weren't training any pilots from right after Desert Storm. They weren't training any pilots, so there's a shortage of pilots, and as people got older, if you're looking at the age, they called it a bathtub. It kept moving along until they all retired, and then they got rid of the bathtub.
Yes.
So that's kind of what we have.
That's where we're about there. And Texas has some intricacies with that, because we do see people moving into certain parts of Texas. You have school systems changing and different school options. So the old model of just going into a classroom and knowing that you're going to go into this public classroom and have access to all these kids is a little bit different.
And you're going to have a lot of kids and probably more kids than you had the previous year. But now it's going to be less kids, and maybe those kids are 5 different schools.
Yes. So we have to strategize differently, and that's what our team does. So we look at how can we do digital advertising differently, because if we can't physically go to every classroom because they're more scattered and things, how can we do that? How can we reach those markets that are increasing? So we want as many students from the local area to come to ASU as they can. They're comfortable here, they'll be supported here, but we may have to look at what other areas are there growth opportunities for us to go to.
So when we look at San Angelo ISD, for example, let's use this as an example, and I'm not saying this to be mean to them or anything, but when I moved here in 2006, I think San Angelo ISD had 15,000 students. And then today we had a story out about closing another elementary school or something, and they're approaching, 12,000 students? I mean, but San Angelo's grown. So where are these kids going to school? Now, if you talk to the hardcore guys, they'll say, oh, they're just not going to class anymore. Fake homeschoolers and stuff like that. But really, I think they're going out to Cristobal, Wall, Grape Creek, Very Best, Paint Rock, where you said advertises. So how do you reach those rural students?
So we have some great partnerships in our local area, and a lot of times it's just having a good relationship with that high school counselor. We have some amazing high school counselors in our area, and they want those students to go on and get that next level. So they're talking to them about options with Howard College and with Angelo State, talking about dual credit in their high school classrooms that can get them to that next step. So we partner.
And dual credit's important for parents to know because college is very expensive. Even public school or publicly funded universities like yours, they're expensive.
Yes.
And the longer you keep them there, the more you got to pay in that dorm and the meal plan and whatever else.
Yes, and we have we're committed to trying to, and commitment's another one of those values, that we're trying to make sure that we can graduate as many students as we can with as little debt as possible. And so dual credit programs and things like that are a great way to do that. And so we partner with the schools on that.
So that gets you a head start. So
yes.
when you go to school as a freshman, you're really taking sophomore classes.
Yes. Right. So we partner with those counselors to talk to them about those options. So we have some great partnerships within SAISD. Those counselors, talk to us all the time. They're telling us, hey, we need help with helping our students fill out the FAFSA and things like that. And the
FAFSA is the big form from the federal government that you fill out. It's kind of like a universal student loan, student scholarship kind of thing, right?
Yes. So that's how the federal government and the state knows how much aid you could qualify for. So we'll go into those classrooms and help them fill those out. And so regardless if it's, the bigger schools right here at SAISD or out in the rural communities, we'll have events on campus where we try to get those students to come to us. We offer events through the schools. We have some coming in February for Destination ASU. It's driven by the high school campuses busing their students to us.
So what do you think? I'm going to get your opinion on this. You have this bathtub, this that's approaching next year. How much do you think the growth of Texas is going to help kind of smooth over that dip in 18-year-old kids?
So I think that what we have to track and continue to track through demographic models and things is what age groups are those people that are coming to Texas and where are they going? Because that's what, when Angelo State's looking at our strategy for recruitment and online education and things like that.
So where are they going?
Well, usually the bigger ares, the Metroplex areas are the areas that we're seeing growth in.
I knocked on every door into the Bluffs and when I was running for office, and about every other house, they were from California.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So anecdotally, I think there's a lot of kids in the Bluffs.
Yes. Well, I'll go there next week. I'll go knock on doors. But I think that rural students are also just a great fit for Angelo State.
But rural students don't traditionally go to college, do they?
Well, there's lots of, you talked about the work that even one of your daughters is doing to get into those rural schools to try to connect resources. That's why we talk about our financial aid counselors going to those areas. I mean, even if you're going to connect with a small group of students, you make a big impact with that connection.
Because they're going to tell their parents are going to talk to other parents, it kind of spreads around.
Yes, and so we do rely a lot on those high school counselors to help get that messaging out about the importance importance of bringing your parent to those sort of events. We encourage as much as we can for people to come visit our campus. So whether you're local or you're from further out in the Metroplex area, come to San Angelo, come to one of our recruitment events. We have one coming up for Brand Preview Day. We have one on Monday, February 17th, which is President's Day, and schools are mostly closed. So we have classes going on. So we ask them to come check us out. And then that parent is hearing that message too about, you may have thought you couldn't afford this, but look at all these financial resources. So, what's your bottom line after we apply financial aid? And then how is your student going to feel safe here? So we make sure that they feel like this is the place that is for the student. We want the student to feel comfortable, but we want the parent feeling comfortable sending their
The
student
culture
to us.
at Angelo State University certainly has been built up over the last decade. I mean, you have the Ram Jams. You built your own stadium, so you don't have to share it with the high school. All those things were important for building a culture around Angelo State, because that's we went to A&M. A&M has a culture that's built around primarily, I guess, its history and the traditions.
Yes.
And Angelo State University, I noticed they have, when you go to A&M, they've also put their core values out on signs, just like Angelo State is doing now.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we believe in them, and I love working there. I love taking my kids to things, and our current students, I think, are our best recruiters because they come and they succeed that first year, and you can just see them shining. They talk about the professors they meet. They talk about students from all over the world that they meet. We have a lot of international students too, and so they meet all these people, and they talk about, yes, this is a smaller university environment, but the opportunities are endless. And so we make sure they're at all of our recruitment events. So they hear it from the student. They're not a paid advertiser. They're there because they had a great experience and they want to share it.
We can't leave talking about recruiting to Angelo State University without talking about the CAR scholarships, right? And the CAR scholarships is merit, right?
Yeah.
Merit-based. But it kind of explain that program. It's unique to Angelo State University.
Yeah, so we have what it's called the Distinguished Scholarship now. So it is, a lot of that is funded out of the CAR funds, but we also have other funds that can be distributed.
So stop right there. CAR was a family that donated, I guess, the entire corpus of their wealth, life's wealth, to the university.
Yes, we are beyond blessed to have that for us. I mean, it's
and so now you've renamed it,
maker.
so now you can add more to the corpus.
Yeah, so we can expand those opportunities beyond maybe just the CAR scholarship. So it's it's a merit-based scholarship based on for freshmen. It's based on your high school GPA, your rank, or your scores. So we have on our website, if you go to angelo.edu/scholarships, you can find them there. We actually increased them this past year to make those even more widely available. I think when they first...
You increased the number of available scholarships?
Available scholarships and the amounts of them. So we're giving out more scholarship dollars than we have before, and so that is part of that commitment to lowering the debt that students walk away with. And so we have that for freshmen, transfer, and graduate students. So the Distinguished Scholarship is an amazing opportunity for students, but we also have other scholarships from a variety of other donors that students can fill out for. The Distinguished Scholarship is given when you apply and get admitted. We use that information you gave us to give you that scholarship. So you don't have to fill out an essay and all that things. It's just based on that merit. But there are other scholarships that are major specific or based on where you're from. We have some wonderful donors who've given us those opportunities, and they can spell out what those requirements are. And so you can go and apply for those. So we encourage students to do as many of those as they can every year. And so you can do that as an incoming student, but you can also do that as an ongoing student. And the Distinguished Scholarship, as long as you maintain those grades, you can keep that going.
Right.
So that's kind of a way to keep those students
Keep them in class,
focused
yes.
and going to class and doing those things.
And
so,
so
they can keep
parents
that.
can know that, get your kids to get a high GPA. You don't have to be in the top 10% or top 5% or top 2%.
No,
It's like
those
top,
bottom numbers are like top 40%.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that those students, you may not have walked out of there at top 10%. But
no
you have
one
a
does.
lot.
No one does in
It's
Christopher
hard.
unless you're the valedictorian.
Yes, it's
you know?
hard. I mean, those small schools are hard, but we know that everybody has when you come to college, if we're going to admit you, we know that you have the ability to succeed. You got to put something into that too. But we have a commitment to you as well to help you, give you that scholarship, to give you academic advising resources, provide the fun to provide a safe place to live, all of that, because we want you to keep going and graduate and then be that alum who goes out and tells everybody else what a great experience is.
We're done with ASU. We're going to talk about something personal now.
Okay.
So you married into the sausage empire of
Yeah.
St. Angelo, the Mikuliks, right?
I guess so, yes.
So as Mikulik, do you love the sausage?
I do. I do. And so that was something I had to say I do to, I guess, when I got married too.
You had to pledge allegiance to the sausage company.
And I'm not from here. So when we got married, we lived elsewhere for a while. We moved here. My first job, I didn't grow up here, so I didn't really know how synonymous the name was with sausage.
That's the only way we know how to pronounce it, because of all the sausage companies, Mikulik sausage, Mikulik sausage.
Yes. So my first job, I said after my first week of work, I said I had 40 people in my office, and I bet 30 of them said, "Oh, like Mikulik, like the sausage." So I learned real quick that it does have a bit of a following, and we're proud of that. So.
All right. So Dr. Kerri Mikulik, Director of all admissions things.
Yes, there you go.
At Angelo
I'll put that
State
on the
University.
card. Sure.
But it was really interesting to hear your perspective on how Angelo State is right now and how they're going to grow and the challenges coming forward, and also talk about the scholarship stuff.
Yeah, lots of great things happening.
Anyway, back to the studio.
Now into news, a former Robert Lee teacher has been arrested for the continuous lewd abuse of a child younger than 14. The indictment states that 49-year-old Justin Esquel had abused a child from March 2020 through October 2024. You can go read more about that on SanAngeloLive.com. And the San Angelo police arrested 3 individuals after an investigation started. Officers noticed one of the females had an active warrant at a convenience store on Howard Street, and this stop led to the discovery of drugs and a gun. The SAPD arrested 24-year-old Avery Sanchez, 27-year-old Delaney Savage, and 25-year-old Emily Jones. And a longtime Mexican restaurant in San Angelo is for sale. Los Panchitos at the Paseo, located at 34 West Avenue D, has been listed by Scott Allison Real Estate for $2.69 million. The location is described as a turnkey. We'll be right back with weather, but first, here's a word from Jay Chandler and Westbrook Plumbing. Do you have a plumbing emergency, burst pipe, major leak, or any other urgent plumbing issue? Westbrook Plumbing provides 24/7 services to San Angelo and the surrounding area. All of Westbrook Plumbing's plumbers are licensed, insured, and trained to provide the best service. Give them a call today at 325-340-4209.
It's hard to believe how reckless some people can be and how hard they fight against real victims. You need a partner who consistently beats the giants and who will never, ever flinch.
Now into weather this weekend and early next week are going to be really cold. And the snow chances this coming Monday have jumped from 20% to 30%. And Friday afternoon we have a wind advisory where we could have wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour. But temps starting on Sunday through about Wednesday have highs in the mid-30s and lows in the teens, so get your pets inside. Now here's a word from Condos, Diamonds, and Coins.
When it comes to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Condos, Diamonds, and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Condos, Diamonds, and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Cano stands by his work and offers free consultations, including estate jewelry. Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Cano's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo.
Thanks for watching the Live Daily News Show, the only locally owned news show in the Contra Valley. Go like us on Facebook, X, and other social media platforms, and download the San Angelo Live mobile app to stay updated with news from in and around the Contra Valley. Thanks again, and Hoops returns tomorrow.